Well, how you doing, Bobby?
I'm doing excellent, Ed. How you doing?
Can't complain. Getting back in the thing of being gone for a week. It's amazing how hard it is. And normally when we're gone, we're not really gone,
Yeah, right. As long as there's internet.
right? But that was my problem. My son had Starlink, and at night he would get 160.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, but during the day when I needed it, it was like 80, 60, 50. It was horrible. Upload 10, 20. Yeah, so it was, and then just use the cell. I couldn't even record my radio show. We had to go with a pre-recorded.
Oh yeah,
because that's how bad it was. And radio, we're just doing voice. We cut video off everything, and they're like, he keeps cutting out.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm done.
How far out in the sticks are they?
They're in Yelm, and then they're outside of Yelm by this thing called Clear Lake. So they're by a lake. And it's a great place to live, but it's just no internet, and the cell coverage is 2 bars. If you're lucky, most of the time it's 1. I'm like, if I would have known I was going to Cold Springs, I would have done something differently.
Yeah.
Because that's, my cabin, I don't get, we have a HughesNet, but I know I can get email and I can send an email, but I can't do anything other than that.
Yeah. I wonder, I know we always talk about like the people like during COVID that moved from the Bay Area to the foothills and stuff like that. I wonder if that was a shock for them, just, like the limited coverage they have up there.
Well, that's why your agent that you're working with needs to be from wherever you're going to, because the agents up there know where the Comcast goes to, right? Like a lot of places like Sugar Pine around there, you can still get high-speed internet. Right. Where if you go up higher, you can't.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. Or if you're lower and you're further out, you can't. You have to get, Starlink, and Starlink's great, but it's not what you want for video and other stuff if you have to do that.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that there's still like line of sight connections,
Oh, yeah.
And so when you're up in the trees, that's going to be terrible.
Well, there's that. Then there's also conifer, which is the SAT. It's a line of sight thing. It's like boop, boop. And that thing is just as bad. So we're spoiled down here where we have
yeah gosh, the few times that like the internet's gone out because like my little one like turn off the power strip or something, the kids are freaking out. They're like, this stupid TV. I'm like, it's been 30 seconds, let's go see if the router got turned off.
Well, and it's amazing how you don't really need cable TV anymore.
No,
but you got to be able to get internet.
Yeah,
right. And so it depends on who you're going through to do that. Right. If you go through Comcast, guess what you got to have? Got to have a landline that you don't need.
Yeah.
And you got to have internet. I mean, if you want high speed with them, you got to get a full package. And it's like, give me a break.
Well, so years ago, I know this is probably not anything real estate related.
It is related to utilities when you go to get it.
Yeah. But Comcast really screwed us over. And like the last time we had them, it was like close to $300 a month. Because I wanted like history and discovery, right? Which was like the bonus package.
Right.
And so when we got rid of them and just got AT&T Uverse, and I forget now that people still pay for cable every month.
So you just pay for internet?
Yeah. I just been streaming forever because it's like I remember like with cable, it used to drive me bonkers, man. That like I had to make sure I was home because the program came in on a certain time, and then like I know you couldn't
DVR it or
you could. I didn't have that.
It's changed it now. It's totally different now.
Oh man, I'm talking
on
like
demand.
This was 12 years ago. We got rid of Comcast, so we've been streaming since then.
Yeah, I just didn't know you could, because that's one of the things I'm even looking here at the office is changing to something else. Not that I have to take their, but I have their phone system, and I have the other stuff which we need. But I'm just I need to have good quality video all the time.
Obviously, right? You're uploading stuff like this.
Yeah, well, I just you think, oh, I got 900, that's download.
Yeah,
and you got 40 up, that's not enough. You need more than that. How do you get more than that? That's the question. One, I'm having excuse me, AT&T hit me up all the time. We're now in your building.
Yeah, you're like, good.
Well, what can you do for me?
Yeah, exactly right.
In this market, what can you do for me? And this is what people do to us.
Yeah.
I saw this is a little different than talking to everybody about real estate, but a loan person was complaining because they cut their comp to beat somebody, and then somebody cut their comp to beat them, and then they were complaining about it, and someone says, you're complaining that someone did to you what you did to somebody else?
Yeah, it's obviously someone just pretty much working for free then, right?
Yeah, and you got to remember, and you can do that. I mean, I did a ton of business in 2020 to 21 refinances. You know, I made a third of what I normally made, but I did 30 of them a month.
Yeah.
Right. And we were doing volume. From that volume, that I have then got so many more clients that know me and refer me now to this day because I did so many loans back then.
Yeah.
I was, you know, in the 1% of the nation, top originator. So I was in the magazines because I didn't put that stuff in there, but we'll move on. How you
That's
get in
excellent.
those things. Yeah. I wasn't in there, but you know, I have the little glass things that say it.
Yeah.
But that's not why I do it. It's about helping, you know, 30, 40 families a month. And that was our goal for purchases and everything else. Well, it's kind of hard to do that when you're at 35% of your normal inventory, which our normal inventory is 450,000 a year. And we're going to luckily break, if we're lucky, 151,000 this year.
Well, you know, I was looking at some of the inventory just in my office because I was thinking about doing like a showcase video or something like that. And we had 32 listings total, man. And I mean, we're talking like from, you know, ranch properties that are almost $2 million, you know, down to your average starter home, right? It's like, man, that's
nothing.
No, normally we have 70 to 90.
Yeah. Well, we're only doing 270 to 80 homes in our area, Stanislaus County.
Yeah.
A month. And there's 3,100 agents in that area.
Yeah. I mean, you know, what their intention to cool off the market, you know, definitely worked. I think they cooled it off too much.
Yeah, but this is not the Fed. Sorry. This interest rate thing is not the Fed. This is all inflation. Yeah. Right. The inflation that went up that the Fed first said, oh, I think it's not statutory, but it's not, yeah, it's not
transitory. Yeah. I didn't even take anything more in college economics. I could have told you that was not the case.
I know, but for a while there it was, but then the problem is we had so much cash being put out into the industry to everybody. I don't care who you were. My son got like 3 checks and he doesn't even live in California. He was in Alaska, but he's in the military.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are we giving all this money to people? You know, it's just, so there was so much money. Fed's trying to, get rid of the supply. Well, we keep pumping more in the supply. Well, it's just going to make it worse. It's really everybody gets tired of me saying it. It's the administration, how they dealt with things is where we are with this, and the Fed trying to do their stuff. And yes, they might not have done it right. And they're of course not, but I just want to go back the other way. I want to get from the 7% interest rates down to a 5%. Just give me 5%. We'll do much better, but we still need inventory.
Yeah, well, but obviously, I think that's going to free up some inventory, right?
If once we get to 4.5 to 5, I think we'll see a huge difference because most people have a 3% or whatever. They're going to move up for a 4.5.
Yeah, for sure,
but not necessarily. They won't for a 7.
I mean, well, that's such a huge difference in cost, right? Like
double.
Yeah.
I can say you're doubling your interest rate.
Mine's at 4% right now. I never did refinance. Just because it didn't pan out for me, right? But yeah, even looking at going at 7, I mean, gosh, we're talking about, you and I were discussing it before, easily doubling my payment plus some. So,
and that's the thing about back to your thing where you're talking about the problem with VA loans is when you refinance to go to a 15-year, it's a pain. You can't just do it. It's the weirdest thing. It's like, why are you doing this, VA? Why are you making it harder for veterans to get a 15-year on a refinance?
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing. And I never had that problem because I was taking everybody I was doing conventional and everybody from 20, from 30 to 20 to 15. And I was trying to do it for some veterans. And it's like, what?
So now here's a question. I don't know if this is a loaded question or not, but we always kind of just spitball. Is there ever a time when you tell people, you know what, I don't think it's right for you to refinance? I don't think.
Yeah. If they have an $80,000 balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're back then they were like, I mean, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
People go, I have an 8% interest rate. Well, what's your loan amount? 70,000. Well, if I take you down to 4%, the cost outweighs what you're going to save in a payment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the cost as far as closing everything. Like that.
Yeah. Just like overall cost, you're not saving that much on that loan amount. You're probably saving $50.
Yeah. I think mine worked out to where it's going to be like a savings of $100 because I wanted to keep the same time frame, right? Because I'd already been paying down on my mortgage for 10 years. And so,
Yeah, but you didn't look at the difference though. $100 a month, the interest over the life of that loan was probably $80,000.
Yeah. My goal is to try and pay it off the next 5 years, man. But
all right, well, that's fine. All right. All right, Mr. What's your name?
You talking about Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong. And there's nothing wrong with paying off your house. However, you better make sure that your kids have all their plans put together for their college. You got to make sure that you have enough money put aside for some other stuff, then focus on do you have enough money going into all your retirement first? Max out your retirement, max out your kids' college funds, then pay off your house. The problem is people shove all their money into their paying off the house, nothing into retirement, nothing into their kids' plans for college, and then go, I have no money. I got to refinance when I'm 60 and pull money out instead of doing it the right way.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with you paying off your house as long as you've done the other stuff.
Like I say, my kids' college plans are about the same as mine, man.
Join the military.
Yeah. Join the service, and then, get out and use your GI Bill.
Yeah. Well, they're even allowing, not immigrants, but where are they coming? What are they calling them now? The people are coming here that are they're running away from things.
Refugees.
They can join the military now.
Really?
And they'll get a path of citizenship.
Man, I don't even want to comment on all the concerns I have about that.
You mean about Afghanistan people?
I was going to say just
actually
insurgents.
I know an interpreter I took care of, who came here afterwards. They were given and then he works for a war college and other stuff, and then he actually he got a citizenship and went in the military, and then and then he got out. Now that's a true somebody who wants to be American, right?
Yeah,
because that's what they did. So I'm good with it. If that's what they come here, they're going to do that, fine. Remember, if you're in the Navy, how many people from the Philippines are in the military who don't have citizenship of the United States because they don't have to because they're from the Philippines?
Probably 30% of the Navy is comprised of Filipinos.
Well, I'm just saying from the actual Philippines who don't have citizenship. And this is not political. This is not whatever. It's just comment.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to, because we have a base there. So it allows them to do it. So if that's the case, what's the big deal? But there better be some background checks, all I got to say, because they background check us before we go in, and we're actual Americans, and we're kind of off the subject of real estate. However, but when you go in and you get your path of citizenship and you get out, we're here for your VA loan.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And right now is the best time to buy with your VA loan. I know it's harder to get in contract, but your payment on the same house versus FHA is a few $100s cheaper per month because you don't have mortgage insurance.
Yeah.
And same with conventional, right? And that's a huge difference. Your payment's so much lower than somebody else's, and you can always do that quick IRL. That's that refinance where they don't look at, you don't even have to have a job at the time when you refinance with VA. That's the cool thing about VA. You wish they would do that with FHA and conventional and stuff. Well, you already got the loan. Let's just make your payment cheaper. No, we got to make sure you can actually qualify.
Yeah.
Why don't we do a streamline refinance?
Yeah.
Let's make one.
Well, I know obviously all the lending criteria has been set up to really kind of ensure that there's not going to be this wave of defaults, right?
It's kind of hard to have a wave of defaults when you have 10 trillion and 2%, 3% interest rates out of 12 trillion.
Well, I was going to say,
where before we had 2 loans on every house, right? That's the difference. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all right, man. People keep, they still keep waiting for this wave of foreclosures, and they're going to come in and get something cheap. And it's like, that's never happened.
Well, the only foreclosures that came through, people sold and made money off of them.
Yeah. Those are like foreclosures, but they have, $200,000 to $300,000 in equity. It's like, they're just going to sell it. It's not a
pre-foreclosure, and then they put on the market, sell it, and be gone with, get behind. I mean, our biggest issue right now is San Francisco. They have all these hotels people are walking away from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You didn't. Oh yeah. The hotels, they're being sold because they haven't made payments on them since 2020.
No kidding.
The mall, Westfield Mall, is saying we're giving our mall back to the people who own the mall, said we're signing over the mall back to the landlord, the lender.
Yeah. So just all these commercial properties. Is that just in San Francisco or? Yeah.
That's because of all the other stuff that's going on.
All the crime.
That's why it's important to have law and order and so people feel safe, period. I don't care what. Yes, some people, unfortunately, you got bad actors in everything, whether it's lending, cops, firemen, doctors, nurses. I mean, you get somebody what do you call somebody who passes medical school with a 70% grade point average? Doctor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want me to steal the punchline? Yeah, I know. That's
I'm just saying about my issue, but you don't want them to work on you because 30% of the time they're gonna mess up.
Oh yeah, and then you hear that statistic, right? And you're like, oh, you really are practicing medicine. You're still figuring it out, huh?
Yeah. So it's just, so that's what's going on over there. And then, a lot of the companies are still having their people work from home. Yes, there's a ton of tech business there, but they're not all working there. And so, all these companies are like, we're done. And then the city and all the people are like, in government's going, well, we reached out to them and we were trying to work with them. How about this? Get rid of the $950 thing. If you steal, you go to jail. Build more jails.
Yeah. Like I said, that's the way it's always been. The way it's always been, right?
San Diego's actually a new thing. San Diego's getting rid of homeless encampments. They're saying it's illegal to have them. They're trying to pass. I think they're going to the board tonight to pass that.
So where are they going to send them to?
LA.
Yeah, right. Just send them to Skid Row. Well, I think it was a couple election cycles ago, and I'm sure with how involved you've been in radio, you talked to him, but I don't even remember the candidate's name. But his idea was Operation Homebound. Remember, and he was talking about like the costs that we incur just arresting someone that's on the streets, right, and incarcerating them for a couple days, something like that. He said it makes more sense for us to spend half of that to buy them a ticket, like a bus ticket to wherever home actually is, because most of the homeless folks around here are not from this area. They're not in native Modestans. They've been brought in from the Bay Area and different places like that.
Well, they come here, right? Because we're called St. Stanislaus, because we give so much.
Yeah.
And so they come here for that. That's our own fault.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it's not as bad as, and I'm not going to get, there is a homeless issue. But most of the people don't want to get off. If they're a veteran, they have usually PTSD issues. And the reason they're outside is because they like it being outside because of their PTSD. And they haven't got, most veterans don't deal with their PTSD until they've ruined every relationship in their life. And then they finally get help.
Yeah.
And that, and so a lot of these people just don't want to, and we need to help them some way, but we need to take the city parks back for us. People who pay the bills need to be able to utilize certain services. I don't understand why the people who don't work get all the services and then we don't get to utilize it. I guess that's my little soapbox for the day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a park down the street from my house, man. And we do not go there because there's just constantly, people that are
right. We need to have park rangers and kicking those people out. And they're going to go, where do I go? Go down to one of the centers that are there for you.
Yeah. My concern is always that there's going to be a needle or something.
No, I know. I totally. It needs to be safer, and our parks need to go back to the people here who live here and pay the bills and pay the taxes.
And that's why I like that Operation Homebound or whatever it was called. Right, was like that makes sense. Send them back to their family where that's their support network. I mean, I'm sure they burned those bridges, but try and mend them because.
Yeah, but most of these people don't want to go back there. There was a state who would give them a one-way ticket to Hawaii. And a little bag. Here's your bag, and here's your ticket. Go to Hawaii and live on the streets there.
Oh yeah,
it was so. That's why Hawaii got so many homeless people.
Well, I was gonna say, talk about getting rid of them from Hawaii, right?
Yeah. What are you gonna put them on?
Yeah.
Cruise contain. They're not gonna get. Where do you want to go from here? Nowhere. Yeah. I like being.
Yeah, I can say. I'm getting fed. I'm living on the beach. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. Now I know where to go. We have issues in all over. But and that's why I was trying to San Francisco. Their big issues why they're leaving is because they don't feel safe.
Yeah.
And that's with the homeless encampments and everything else on the streets that you have, they just don't feel safe when companies are leaving. So that should be a wake up call for the rest of the state of California. Wake up, because we spent $10 billion over the last few years on homeless and it has not made it better.
It's made it worse.
Yeah, and that's Newsom's program.
Yeah.
And then he was on some TV program going, well, it's the last Republican who was in to cause the problem. You spent $10 billion.
Schwarzenegger? Like,
yeah, that was 2005.
Yeah.
No, that he did create a problem. That was when the top 2 people on the ballot is only 2 people need to be on the ballot. The top from the primary, it could be 2 Democrats. It needs to be the top 2 parties, not the top 2 people.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But that was Arnold Schwarzenegger to mess that up.
Well,
all right.
All I know is from when the time from 20 years ago, man, the way California was even if you got caught shoplifting some nail polish, the cops were coming out to get you. Now $950. I mean, they really do. Even down here, like in Modesto, my mother-in-law works over at TJ Maxx, and she said they'll just come in and they'll grab a bunch of like expensive purses and just wave on their way out,
Right. Well, I was in Walgreens by my house the other day, and I watched some guy shove all this stuff in his pants and then walk out. It's like, why are you shoving it in your pants?
Yeah.
I mean, just walk out with it.
It's not the old days, man. You don't have to hide it.
That's right. And that's the sad part, that we allow that. But our sheriff, our police chief, it's law and order here. My biggest problem that I have with everything, and I'll get off my soapbox, is how people don't drive right anymore. They run stop signs, they run stop lights. They don't give a whatever about you. It's all about them getting in front of you.
Yeah, I think that's because the demographics changed around here, right?
Well, no, just in general. I'm just saying that's what people just don't care anymore. Ever since the pandemic, it's like people don't know how to drive and they don't care. And it's like cops aren't pulling them over. We need to get these people pulled over and give them tickets. But they can't afford it. Well, then don't do it.
Yeah, I can say actually the police department pulled over a buddy of mine, and they actually, because he had a taillight out, and they gave him a gift card to AutoZone.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice. Here, go get this fixed.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's nice. I mean, that's not bad.
I think it's great PR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since you didn't have any drugs in here, here's a gift card.
You're not drunk. Yeah, you're not drunk, and it's just a taillight. So
somebody must. Oh, damn it! Who broke that?
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was a kid and I came to Modesto, and I had my Mustang, and my stepdad at the time had borrowed it for umpiring and brought it back, and one of the balls had broke my driver's side mirror. Right. And the mirror was still there, but the thing was off. And I was on a date with my girlfriend, going down McHenry, because she's from McHenry, from Modesto, and we're going to the movies, and I got pulled over, and I just detailed it, and I got pulled over, and they're like, what are you doing? The stuff at the time. And then they grabbed the rags that are in the back seat that it was, from me wiping. They smelled it and everything. It's like, you need to go home. Because if we pull you out here again, we're going to take your car from you. It's like, really?
Were they like accusing you of cruising or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it was legal back then. That's how long ago.
Like I say, the thing that Modesto is known for, you're not even supposed to do anymore, right?
No, it's a parade. It's not cruising. But they're trying to change that, because that's wrong for some people. We'll move on. Yeah. I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate being here. We went a little bit longer than normal, and we talked about everything under the sun. At least we can cut up different things. And
we missed last week, so
catching up. That's right. All right. Thanks for being here, Bobby.
Thanks, Ed.
All right. And thank you for watching. If you want to support us, just go to our YouTube channels. That's Real Estate Jerky or Ed Parcaut. Bobby, what's yours?
Robert Atkins Realtor.
There you go.